Yes, yes, yes. I want to welcome y'all to the You Wasn't Outside podcast on the Grown Folks Podcast Network. I'm one of your hosts, not doing the most normal ass Carl.
DJ
To my
Normal
front,
Ass Carl
I have
in
my
the
man
mix.
at Just Lex.
Noah's Cara and this Lex.
Yep. So last week, I need you to go to our Instagram, to the video that I posted. Might have to turn the sound off on it, but there was a comment left on there by a Juicy J Fox.
Is it in the notes?
Yeah, no,
is
it's
it this little thing right here?
No. It's in the comment section on Instagram. You got to go in there. I told her I was going to call her, but in terms of the time, I'll read off everything that she said. Last week, I don't know if y'all remember, but we was talking about like what things that we wish that women did more of from a man's perspective.
We got flamed up?
Yeah, we got flamed. She hit us with 3 comments in a row.
Where am I going?
You going to any one of those top 2 videos that's up there. She's in the comments somewhere in there. If y'all want to go to it for reference, you can go to our Grown Folks business page and see what she wrote. So we were talking about what do we wish women did as men.
I can just tell by how long it is.
Yeah. We only gonna skim a few of it, but I want to make sure that we address the conversations that we have, and we got to be accountable for.
You got my number.
Yeah. Well, because she started flaming it. That's my girl though. Like we real tight. We've been close for a few years though, but she's very into like women empowerment perspectives, and I love that. And I always want to make sure that we always cater to that. Look at you already doing the man shit. You see, last week he was Mr. Sensitive, but when you put it into action,
I don't like.
Go ahead, see what she said then.
2 words: mental labor. All of the women, especially wives that are mothers, are in agreement. We need you mofos to pick up your share of the mental load.
Wow.
Get that hate out your heart. Let that hurt go, ma.
But you know what? You and me both are victims of not picking up the mental load.
Say what?
Come on now. Look, there's things on mic that we can't talk about between the both of us, but there have been specific conversations that I've had with my wife in regards to like me picking up on some shit. Keep going.
Meanwhile, homie want to say women should wear less makeup. Lord help me.
But I mean, I feel her on the mental load. So what she did was she heard the clip, right? What I'm saying, and what we later talked about last week was like, yo, like on certain things, I don't want to live there, like in that situation, right? But I will say on things that are very important to you, right? As a woman, I should be able to empathize and meet you halfway in regards to those things. How do you feel about what she's saying? You're reading it a little more.
I think it's important. Like, yeah, mental. All I said was, you said what we need. And
to do as men.
No, I'm just saying. The question I was asked, I just gave a simple example. Hey, ma, you beautiful. You ain't got to wear the makeup.
Right. It's something. It's not
simple.
that deep.
I'm a simple man, simple creature.
Yeah.
I wasn't talking about no mental load, this and that. Hey, you need me to step it up? That's something women need men to do more of. That was not the question.
Are you looking at it in the same perspective? No, because she's saying, well, that's another piece, right? Is that, if I bring up something that we need to work on, that's not like we're focused on you right now, right?
Right.
We'll get to me.
That was not the question.
I get what you're saying now. Yeah. If I bring up something that like that's right. Real, like, and that's part of that.
I get shit flipped on me all the time.
Yeah, it's like
it's my turn to be mad.
Yeah. Why can't I be mad?
I'm only asking for 15 seconds.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and it's like I feel her, right? But in that instance, if we're looking at and I'm open to that, but can we focus on you first? Like that's where we're 100% at. Anything else you see in there that's enlightening?
If you need an example, it could be as small as knowing what's in the fridge and needs to be replaced without asking your wife. I do the grocery shopping.
You do the grocery shopping. I've seen it firsthand.
Planning and scheduling appointments. Okay, that's where I need a handler.
I don't do the grocery shopping.
I need a handler. I don't know. I don't know when my appointments are. I don't know what to do.
What about the kids' appointment?
I don't do none of that.
Yeah.
I just go to work and have insurance.
I feel bad when the teacher tell me like, hey, she had a bad day yesterday. I'm like, yo, that wasn't
selecting and buying parents and children gifts based off your own knowledge and research. Okay. I mean, you right. I ain't doing none of that shit. These seems like small instances, but I promise thinking of every detail of every member of your family and the needs of your home is daunting and load needs to be shared. So she's right. The problem is she don't know me. I share that shit.
Do you?
Some of these little examples, like buying little whatever, I don't, but I do other shit.
What's your scout grade?
My who?
Your scout grade, based on what they're looking for. Where you grading yourself at? A, B, C, D, F.
Man, I'm a catch. Whatever that is.
C? Were you going with the C? You a C grade?
C sounds mid.
I feel like A too high if you lacking in the appointment in the appointment department though.
I didn't say I was an A.
Okay, I'm about a C plus.
Let's call it a low B.
I'm gonna go with a low B too.
I'm a low B. Nah, you know what? I'm a C. I'm in the mid C because I'm down right now.
Okay, all right, but I'm gonna go with my B minus.
Yeah.
There's other things that I do outside the home that I know you can't do. Right?
Yeah, but that's not what she talking about.
Yeah, I know. But
that's the stuff we supposed to be doing. We don't get no grade for that.
Yeah, I'm bringing that in because I need that to bring my grade up, though. You know what I mean? Like I need to bring that in. Shout out to Juicy J. I always love the women's perspective. It's always
and
amazing.
Thank you for doing it in the comments.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Not texting personally.
Yeah. Don't kill us like that. Yeah, we need that.
More. We get plenty of fan engagement, but a lot of people don't see it because people hit us directly.
Right, and I need it in the comments so that we can do this and people can listen to what we saying.
And I'm not gonna front. As soon as I walk out this door, I don't remember two things of what I be talking about.
Yeah, that's facts. That's why somebody else had hit me in my DMs when I posted the thing, and I was like, let me remember like 100% like what I said. Like I don't even know 100% what I said. Hit my hand claps. I like I said, we getting straight to it. My voice is a little gone. Today was the first day of baseball practice. I know y'all don't give a shit, but the kids looked amazing today, first day in. Here we go. Random shit to fill in time. What experience caused you to see the world differently? Starting heavy. Like just think about all your life experiences. I'll start with one first because I had a head start on these. My great grandmother passed in 2006. Up until that point, everyone that I could remember like in my life was still around and alive. And so when she passed and I seen how like it affected our family, like it changed Thanksgivings, it changed Christmas, it changed like the places we go to. Like I remember we used to go to her house. She lived by the cemetery off of the 805 in Home Depot. Like I don't even frequent that neighborhood. I used to play outside there. So when she was gone, I was just like, damn, like nobody's designed to be here forever. And I think about that with my kids because, you know, we got parents and they're older and stuff like that. And they're not here all the they're not going to be here all the time. Right. And so I always think about like those things are going to like the things that they do with them right now, like impacts like their experiences. Like I remember going on a cruise with my grandmother. So now imagine you skim forward 34 years later, you know, because I'm 34 and, you know, she's in her upper 80s right now. And, you know, she's not as, you know, sharp as she used to be. Right. And so like I started thinking that time is like my greatest asset, and time is something that like, you know, I look at how I spend my time too, right? The whole rest of my life after that, like it was like, I need to be in a hurry to do things, get through school, get the job I need and everything that changed everything for me.
I'm going to pick something hella random because I think there's way too many examples to answer that question.
Yeah.
But just like a personalized one, I would say, when I was a senior in high school and I went to prom, I had 2 prom dates, right?
That changed your experience for sure. Yeah.
Nah. So I had 2 prom dates, one black, one white. And the time came, you know, the pictures got there, you know, I'm loading them up and, you know, whoever got to get whatever. And my mom was like, hey, go get me your prom pictures so I can send them to your grandma. I was like, word. So I got her one of each.
Yeah.
And she was like, nah, I just need this one. And I was like, what you mean? And then she just took the one where, you know, with the white girl in it. And so then I put 2 and 2
That's
together
crazy to
real
have
quick.
2 choices though.
And I was like, huh. Because at first I was like, oh, she.
Well, wait a minute. Was part of you? Go ahead.
Because I'm like, oh, she don't want. She gonna think it's weird that I had 2 different girls with me, so she only needs one.
That's what you thought.
No, that's what I wanted. I was trying to force myself to believe because, like, that's my grandma.
Yeah.
And that was the thing that changed because I'm like, oh, you know what? Just because I have this specific relationship with her and I see her as a certain way, like perfect, that doesn't mean, like, she wasn't, like she grew up in a different time. And that doesn't mean she is a perfect person. And, you know, my mom will be the first person to tell you that because that's her mom, right? But as my grandma, it's like, nah, can't nobody say shit bad about her.
Right.
So that shit really broke me down. Like, I went to school the next day and I was like damn near crying. And then she's like, and you know, to the other girl who she was like, well, I was like, man. And the thing is, I could have never said nothing. She would have been none the wiser. But I felt so bad. I'm like, yeah. She's like, nah, don't even trip. Like, you're making it a big deal. I was like, nah, it's a big deal because, like, that's my grandma. Like, and not me and all this and that. Now, fast forward to find out, this might not even really been a thing because I should have checked the source of where it came from, because fast forward.
So wait, somebody sent your grandma pictures or your grandma sent somebody some pictures?
My mom was gathering prom pictures to send to my grandma.
Okay.
She's the one that said, hey, she grew up in a different time, this and that.
Oh, so your mom is the one who picked the photo.
And I took her for a word for it. But then later, right? So fast forward, right?
Oh, shit. You really leaned into my next question. I fucking hate that, but go ahead.
Fast forward, you know, we're going up to Riverside to one of my, you know, nephew's or niece's birthday, and you know, she's coming with me, and I'm like, damn, like, no, I had no idea my grandma was gonna be there, but so we're trying to mentally prep on the way in, like, okay, I'm traumatized from 2006. She doesn't approve of interracial relationships. You don't know me. If anything, you gonna pop up and you gonna say you my sister's teacher friend. We had this whole story plotted out. We go. I'm telling the family, hey, don't say
based
shit.
Based on that experience.
Don't do nothing. Yeah, this and that, right? So the party's going on. It is what it is. And then my sister-in-law and her mom, they like bring me to the side and they're like, you know, we've been hanging out with your grandma the whole day, and I don't think this is like a thing. Like, she seems to be getting along with everybody, and it's not a big deal. And are you sure like that's a real thing? And then that was like that moment. That had to be, I don't know, 8 to 10 years later, where I realized, damn, I never thought to check the source of the information.
This is 8 years later?
Yeah, I was like, my mom.
That's a lot of time that you allowed to pass before you even
said
because
I didn't really think about it like that.
Because you hadn't seen out of sight, out of
now
mind.
that I'm in a situation again where I can do it in live person.
Right.
I'm sitting here thinking like, damn, you know what? I never thought to check the source of the information. My mom be saying shit just to say it sometimes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it was true.
Hey, can you hand me the remote out there from the other side? What? Can you hand me the remote out there from the other side for this right here? Whenever you get time, it's cool. We record it right now. Nothing. What do you mean what's wrong with it? Oh, push the little button for me. Don't worry about it. All right, go ahead.
That was it.
No, I mean, so do you think that, like, could a part of you say that, like, yo, like, my mom probably just chose this photo because maybe that's just what my, like.
No, my mom said I can't send her this photo because she won't accept it. She was born in a different time.
Oh, I thought so.
She broke it down.
Throw it.
You want to catch it?
Yeah. So she broke it. So she broke it. Just press me. Don't press the button. Just press me. Did it fix it? No. That's fine. We'll fix it later. But yeah. So she told you that like your grandmother was like that, and you just took it for what it was.
Took it for what it was. I felt like that's a crazy thing to make up. And the thing is, it still may have been true. She was just having a good day or whatever. But I never thought to check the source. And it's
has she ever said anything to you that would make you believe that was the case though?
No.
Then maybe it wasn't true, or maybe she grew. Like, you know, like people change all the time.
Growing in your 70s to your 80s is kind of crazy, but I guess.
Yeah. Here's my next one.
We don't miss 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's good. We be all right. What hurt the most on something you learned about your parents? I told you leaned into my next one. Yeah, kind of brought that up a little bit.
What hurt the most?
Yeah, what hurt the most about something that you learned from your parents? Like, I feel like at some point, like I lapped like my mom and dad, right? Like a little earlier. You know what I mean? And so certain things that I like, nah, for real, like I'm not trying to even be like that's the goal though, right? I want my kids to grow up to be like smarter than me.
Yeah, so that means they were successful.
Exactly. And then so it's a win. I'm okay. So then what are the things that you would say that like surprised you? What? It's right here. You gotta come on the other side. But what's something that like surprised you about that?
Surprised me or hurt? Because you said hurt.
My bad. Surprise or hurt? Well, that's fine. But you know what I'll do? I'll make it lighthearted, right? My mom used to say this used to jack me up. It's so minute. But she used to say, like, moms don't fart, like, they impolite. Like, and women don't do that, right? So I grew up, like, all the way up until about 11 or 12, like, thinking that, women just don't pass gas at all. You know what I mean? Boy, was I surprised when, like later on when it happened. Something lighthearted. Or you can go deep if you want to, too, but I kept mine lighthearted.
I don't think there's anything super shallow between me and my mom when it comes to stuff like that.
Like there was nothing you were, like, nothing.
And the thing is, I don't even know if I've ever been hurt like that because one, excuse me, one, it either wasn't surprising, or two, I think I hit a level of maturity to where I was like, I found out my mom wasn't perfect fairly early on. Yeah. Like kids grow up and they think, their first superheroes is their parents.
Right.
And then I think parents try to hold that as long as possible because they're like, one day they're going to find out that I'm not perfect.
How old were you when that happened?
5, 6.
Okay.
Now, see, I've been trying to do the opposite.
You still think your kids think you perfect right now?
I've been trying to tell them like, yo.
I'm that dude?
And that I'm not.
So you try to let them know.
Because they expect me to know every answer to every question. And don't help that she'd be like, go ask your dad. He knows everything. And I'd be like.
That's crazy.
I'm like, why don't you believe that when I be trying to tell you some shit?
Right.
But yeah, so just certain things, it's like, especially right now when it's like a lot of changes and stuff like that, I'm like, hey, you got to realize that, me and mom, like, we gonna mess up sometimes too, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Because, we gonna keep it pushing, everything's gonna be all right. But, it's not a bad thing, because I don't want them, because I think kids might grow up with certain expectations of themselves, and they're hard on themselves, because they're like, oh, I want to be like dad, and dad is perfect. So if I make a mistake, I'm going to be hard on myself because I don't know that it's okay to make that mistake. And me growing up without a dad, I don't really know. Like, I'm just growing up as a man, like, oh shit, I think I'm supposed to be doing this. And so that leads to some shit where you're putting all this unfair pressure on yourself as a child.
Yeah.
And then you take that into adulthood, and then now you got to deal with that. And so I'm trying to do the opposite for my kids.
I know we focused on your mom, but was there something about your dad now that you've had a little bit more conversations with him than you did in previous time that like hurt the most?
Hurt the most?
Yeah, or something that shocked you? Like in conversations with him?
Nah, because I mean, I don't think we've gotten like super duper deep on that level yet.
You know what though? Let's beg the question then. We'll open it up. A while back, you said that, like, your dad kind of acknowledged, like, some of the things that you saw when you was coming up. Now, that's not something that hurt you, but is it something that surprised you? Like, like, we do got a lot in common in regards to, like, how we may view, like, our relationship with her.
No, because, the one thing we have in common is, okay, well, that's different because it's a different relationship, but the way he speak, like, now, maybe he's just waiting for the time where we actually kind of dig more into it because we haven't really dug into it like that. But he hasn't said a bad word about my mom at all. And I'm pretty sure he has plenty that he could say.
You been waiting on it?
No, I'm not waiting on it. But I'm saying like just we don't get to that level. At least we haven't yet, like on the phone anyway.
Yeah.
The only time my mom ever gets mentioned is like just happenstance, like, for whatever reason. And honestly, he lives in Syracuse. It's real slow moving out there. There's not a lot going on. He retired. When we call and check in, there ain't much going on his side. And he's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I always usually have a whole lot going on my side. So he just wants to hear what I'm doing.
Right.
I think he like lives vicariously through me.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. But yeah, I think when we get more into it, maybe if I bring it up and he'll acknowledge like, yeah, I can relate to that. But similar to like he won't say nothing like bad. He'll acknowledge me, yeah, that's probably true, but he won't be like, he's not one of them bitter dudes that's just like, yeah, your mom's was crazy and this and that. Yeah. And I'll be like, yo, you can say that, and I'll be like, go ahead and give it up.
Interesting, like similar to your experiences, bro, is like I know a lot about my mom as a kid, right? And so as a kid growing up that's had both of his parents in his life, like there wasn't very many Bro, I found out maybe at like 18 that like my dad played football, like for his high school, played basketball and stuff like that. Seeing old pictures, like he won't have those conversations. So for a while, I would think that like my dad wasn't athletic. He was just like maybe he was the late bloomer athletic dude. Right, I remember him playing ball and stuff like that, hoop it up like when I was a kid, but he was well into his 20s and 30s, you know what I mean? Like teenage life, he won't walk around and talk about those things. So like as I've gotten older, I'll ask him certain questions and he'll bring up people because his side of the family is all from Atlanta, right? And like my dad kind of came over here and then meshed into like my mom's side of the family. So like I haven't seen a lot of like his people like in forever, if not even met them, right? And so like that's to me where it's like, yo, I started having conversations with my kids like in the last 2 weeks in regards to just going to college. Like I show them Fresno State, like, yo, this is where your dad went to school at. I went to the same elementary school, so I'm pointing out classrooms so that they can know it. Yeah. Right? So like a lot of that is like I don't want my kids to like feel like I'm not an open book with them.
I'd be doing that too, because that's when I did a little when I was over here and I had G in the car and I went past Zamorano. I was like, that's me. Yeah. And then, based on the school they go to, they'll be like, "Oh, why are we at the junkyard?" Yeah.
They ain't got solar panels in the
this is where Dad met Mom. You know what I mean?
To be fair, Zamorano's one of the nicer schools that's out here.
They definitely put a little money into it too. But I did notice that when you were saying that too, my mom don't talk a lot about her childhood outside of like blanket statements.
Do you know where she went to high school at?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know stuff like little things like that, but when it comes to like experiences or stuff that she can try to relate to as
Did she play like T-ball or something? Do you know basketball?
She played basketball for like a second.
Yeah.
But only because she was tall.
She's still tall. Don't say was.
But I'm saying like she wasn't like, oh, like she's a hooper. They're just like, hey, you need to come play basketball because of that.
That's a different time.
But like she won't give me like specific stories to where I can like as a kid relate to like, okay, so that's a thing.
Why is that? Do you think
because she has a lot of unresolved issues that she literally said this to me a few times where I was like, that's not gonna make me want to tell you anything.
Right.
She'll sit there and be like, I'm your best friend, right? I'm like, okay. You tell me anything, I'm like, okay, that's what you're supposed to say as a mom, right?
Right.
We're supposed to have this open line of communication.
Yeah.
But then in the very next sentence, she'll say something like, oh, I got stuff I'll take to my grave that you'll never know. And I'm like, I didn't ask, but all right. That makes me want to share everything with you. And it's like, obviously it's not appropriate to tell kids certain things, I would assume. I know there's a lot about me that I probably shouldn't just give up to them, especially right now. But I mean, at a certain point, like right now, like we're in our mid-30s.
Yeah. That sucks to hear that.
We're in our mid-30s. Our parents can probably give up some real life shit and we can accept it properly.
Yeah.
And digest it because we're like, all right, you ain't perfect. I've been at that age too, and that doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility. But they have this pride of like, no, you're my kid. You're always my kid. So I always have to be above you. So I can't admit to no mistakes that might make me feel like I'm placed below you. Even though all that is doing is saying, hey, you're a successful parent because I kept it pushing. I went above you, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm just speaking from my own perspective because a lot of parents might be doing what I'm craving for and I'm just hating.
How open do you want to be with your kids though in regards to your childhood and life and stuff like that? Like
I'm an open book in general for the most part. I know that's contradictive because I don't really be giving it up all the way here.
Yeah, but I mean,
anybody who's like close to me, I feel like I'll be just like I'm pretty good at saying whatever's on my mind and shit like that for the most part. And
But I'm saying in regards to being open with them, how open do you want to be?
I want to be as transparent as possible. It's gonna be a case by case basis.
There's some parts in your story that you shouldn't tell.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. It's possible if something were to come down to it, and I have something in the tuck, like all right, I can relate to them. Because at the end of the day, I'm a protector. And so I need to arm them with any and all information I got if it's going to help them out. And if it's something as simple as, hey, my dad can relate to me in this way, then and it makes him comfortable enough to come to me instead of doing something else or coming to someone he don't need to be going to, then that's important.
I also think it's a big deal. Like we talking about kids, but I feel like adults need to know that too.
Yeah,
like it's okay that I'm gonna make mistakes. You know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. That might stem from something as simple as I thought these people were perfect growing up because they never showed me otherwise. They never gave me anything otherwise. And so I put that pressure on me to be perfect.
You're speaking to being naive though then too. So like, I equate that to like at my job that like there, you know what I do. I ain't gonna say it on here because I really want to give it up on certain things. Right. But like I've talked to people and had a heart to hearts with them. And I used to be like, how'd you like get a chance to work here then with like that type of background? Like that don't even make sense to me, right? I used to hold people in high regard, and I've realized it don't matter if you're a police officer, a politician, you work for the government or whatever, you're a pastor,
you're a
human being no matter what. That part took me a while to like really understand and digest, because the people that I've been around my whole life have been either like people that were either doing something positive and shit, or I went to college, like-minded people. But when you start getting out there in the world, like when I got my Jordan stolen, I was like, oh, nobody.
But that's what I'm saying.
Me.
You're saying exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'm
You're
applying
not
it to adults.
To it early enough,
right?
So if you would have found out earlier that the human element of people, that might have helped you in one way or another.
I think it probably would have hurt me though, because at that time I would have been susceptible to participate in those same things if I met people.
No, that's different.
I'm saying for me. I can't say for everybody, but for me, I would have been susceptible for some of those things, because I feel like I was on the brink. You know what I mean? Like for a long time until I got to high school.
A gang?
I was close. I mean, shit, living in this neighborhood, bro. Like you gonna run into that culture. You've been approached by them in so many ways, and you could have been one. You know, a white Crip. That could have been you on them YouTube, on them your white blood too. Don't do that. We ain't that type of pod. All right, last one. What's something that you know you'll never experience? Hey, I'm in my bag. I'm trying to tell you, I'm in my bag, and it's right up your alley, because this is like
how dark do you want to go?
Yeah, Mr. Hard on himself. I know I probably never touch. I'll touch a meal in my lifetime.
Joy and happiness.
See, I skipped that one because it was kind of heavy. I got one of those on there though. That question just to fuck with you. Hold on, just to mess with you a little bit. Are you really happy or just comfortable? Explain the difference.
Neither.
Nah, we're not doing that today. I want you to ponder on that one.
All right.
What's something that you'll never experience, though? I'll never be a millionaire. I know that. And I have to be comfortable.
I think that's false, and I just think you're not thinking about it the
let's
right
do
way.
it. We're delving into it. Tell me why I'm wrong, because I don't think that I'm wrong. I think I'll make millions when it's over with, but I don't think I'll be a millionaire for a long span of time. Like the way my salary is set up, I will touch a mill, right? Yes, absolutely, right. The way that her shit is set, we can make millions over time. But we not going to be no straight up millionaire, though.
I think it depends on how you look at it, because there's different ways to... Most people are millionaires and might not realize it.
That's video game shit.
It's bullshit.
That's great. And he should have been a Charger. Anyway, keep going.
Because you halfway there already, you might not even think about it. Do you mean like $1 million liquid, or do you mean a millionaire, like in the actual definition?
Liquid, like Trump, like Liquid's I got 400 million on cash.
That's a crazy example to use.
But, I know. I was just saying that because he said he had 400 million on cash.
So liquid millionaire is way different,
right?
Because living out here, it's not that hard. I don't want to say that.
Break it down so we understand, though. I need to know because I feel like I'm not going to touch that.
Most people's wealth, and this is why we preach home ownership and don't sell grandma's house and stuff like that, is tied up in home equity. And we live in a time where it shot up so drastically, and you bought in a time where you've come up a lot quicker than like the average, scale of or window of time, to where, when I found out, what my mom's house appraised for, what this house appraised for, and I'm like, oh, and you bought it at a certain time, where I was like, oh, even though it was still a bad buy to me, like emotionally, like you still got like you halfway there at least in my mind
when I Googled it
without counting your pockets.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, but well, so it's like, oh, I can't really touch that money, so to speak. But technically, eventually on paper, as you start paying that house down more and it creeps up a little bit more, plus whatever else you got going on the side, you will be a millionaire. And the thing is, a lot of people won't even realize it. A lot of people live out here and don't even realize they're millionaires because it doesn't necessarily feel like you're a millionaire because it's not liquid. But if you're talking about liquid cash, I mean, that's fair. If you think you ain't going to hit that, then yeah.
I'll never go to the league.
Well, that should have been as you get older.
I feel like I could have made a run at 31, but some of my attributes just wasn't going to outshine. Stomach still. I'll never have a 6-pack. I'm gonna have to eat that one, right? I'm just gonna be. I can work hard at it and get to it, but the work that you have to do that, no, I'd just rather be healthy and be able to move around. So I'm okay with that. I'm not settling. I'm just okay with it because I realize there's a time and a place. If I'm gonna pour into my kids, I can't be at the gym 2-3 hours a week. 2-3 hours a day, like getting that in. The diet stuff helps too, but again, I'm running around all the time. I gotta be realistic. Like some of these things are tough. At a certain point when you're doing everything you can, it is just like genetics and how you build. Yeah. Because we see a lot of these people running around today that is way healthier than us. They work out harder. The Kendrick Perkins we see is the one he was supposed to be.
And it's just like you can only get down so much. You know what I mean?
Oh man, the Kendrick, like we saw him in peak athletic form. He settled into his body now. Shaquille O'Neal's another one. He settled into his real body over time. I'm going with all these. I rock with a dude right now that played DN. He settled back into his actual body because some people just don't look good big. Like I'd be like, yo, you supposed to be like. He settled in. He got long ass arms and shit. I was like, yeah, you wasn't supposed to be. He played DN, so he was like 280, 290.
I think I've had let me keep it more lighthearted. Because
something you'll never experience.
So never. I've had experiences. Cause I think one of the first experience a lot of us feel like you brought up is like, oh shit, I'm not going to the league, right? Or I'm not even going to go any further than I am now.
That's a cultural thing.
That's
too.
Like something you get to at a certain age, and you're like, oh, and then you accept it, you keep it pushing. Right?
Yeah, hurts a little still. It doesn't mean it hurts less.
I've accepted. Damn, which one that I just had one. I lost my track of mind. That's why we shouldn't be watching TV.
Yeah, you watching. I'm looking at you this whole time.
I realized I'm never. Damn, I fucking lost it.
It's all good, man. I was talking about never touching the mill, never being able to have a 6-pack, like being realistic about sports and shit. And you was thinking about what? You can't remember now?
I mean, I still have a little bit of faith in me for a couple of those things you said. So I'm not there with you.
Like the 6-pack?
Yeah, I'm pretty much there. I'm at like.
Your frame is thinner.
I'm at like 4.5. Hey, whatever gets you there.
I ain't mad at you. I was jealous. I looked at you in the shirt when you came in. I said, oh, he's different. Look at him. Fuck it. If you don't got it, you don't got it.
I lost it.
All right, hit my hand claps and then click that Read 'em and Weep link for me that you got on there.
That's what that was.
We gonna let my man Rex Life Raj pour into us. Yep, go ahead, hit that Instagram link in there that's on there and make sure we got the sound.
So I was listening to this cat talk and he made such a good point. He was like, if somebody asked you like what's 2 + 2 or whatever, you could do it in your head, but if they asked you something like what's 433 plus 956. Some people could just do it in their mind, but some people be like, let me get a piece of paper and write it down and do it on paper. The whole idea is like, you dealing with a lot of complex issues in your mind. A lifetime full of shit, relationships, trauma, emotion, sadness, pain, this whole journey and narrative that you have in your mind, and you're trying to figure it out in your head. Bro, you have to write it down. You're trying to deal with this complex shit in your mind, and it's so complex. The whole point, like I say that a lot, you got to write these things down so you can see them and just let it all fall on paper. A lot of it is too complex for your mind to handle. So, like, I think, writing that shit down and figuring it out and seeing it and sorting through it is super helpful. It was a great analogy that he did. I never really looked at it like that.
So I like that, right? And I know you have been talking about like therapy and I was talking to a young man the last 2 weeks working with him as a mentor. And I know you hate writing shit down, right? But sometimes there's a thoughtfulness to it, right? Sure. And my question to you is have you been writing? Hey, we recorded, man. You loud. I can hear you in the mic. day, he'll just get louder. Can you bring it down, Pops? So I know you like to write things down, and I mean, you don't like to write things down, but have you been doing more of that lately?
Nah, but I mean, I think it's a good perspective because I think most of the time when people talk about writing things down, it's more like positive things. It's more like, oh, let me write down my goals. Let me manifest some shit so I can write it down and look at it every single day.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever really heard about it flipped the other way where you're like, oh, I'm trying to figure some shit out. I mean, I guess it could have still been a positive thing, but a lot of things is more like, yo, I'm going through it, trying to figure some stuff out. Let me write it out. And like, I don't know, maybe I'm thinking of like the therapist as like the scratch paper. So they're actually receiving it as like an audio book.
Right.
And they're the scratch paper. And then them speaking back to me is me figuring it out with them because it's like me looking back at what I just said, but it's coming with advice.
What are 5 things that you could say that you value in life?
Time. Relationships. Peace. Wit.
Okay.
And critical thinking.
If you had to get rid of 3 of those, or actually let's do 2. You got to get rid of 2 of those. Which 2 would you get rid of? It's a tough one. Now I'm gonna tell you where I got this from. That's why I got you. Don't worry, I got you. If you got to get rid of 2.
I mean, shit. Damn, saying getting rid of relationships is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
While you think about that, the reason, and still ponder, the reason why I asked you, there's a regular exercise. So I used to teach, you're going to laugh a little chuckle. I used to teach anger management, right? And there's certain things that I'm worth getting, that when you see me get mad, every instance that we've talked about and me getting mad, it's because it affects one of my value systems. For the most part, I let the shit roll off. That's not important to me. But anytime I've ever told y'all that I've been mad in the last 10 years, is because it affects it. My top 2 is my ability to make money, my family, right, and my health. Those are my 3, right? So when I first started to exercise and teaching anger management, what they was having us do is like CBT, cognitive behavioral thinking, right? And so they had you write down 10 things that you value. And didn't tell me that we had to take anything off. So I'm really soul searching for 10 things that I really value.
I thought this exercise sounded familiar.
Yeah, I sketched it. Well, I did it too, right? Like I'm not in the moment of judging nobody.
The problem was I did it with a therapist I didn't like, so I wasn't taking it serious.
You wasn't super engaged, right?
No.
But when I got down to the 3, she was like, yo, like this is the normal. Yeah, that's crazy. This is the things that you normally, like these are the things that's worth you fighting for and putting all your energy into. Right? Not that the others are not important, right? But it's like, what am I going to spend my time doing and everything to make sure that it's okay? So if you got rid of time, that's okay because you're investing time into other things still.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So if you now looking at it from that perspective, and even for our listeners, like I'm asking y'all to think about 5 things that you like really value and then take 2 of them away and then really focus on those 3 things. I feel like you'll find that happiness and understanding it. And this goes into what Rex is saying, where it's like so many times, like we say we got a plan, we got a goal, we never write those things down. Right. But if we write those things down and we have them posted somewhere and we work, or spend a considerable amount of time on those things every day, we're still working towards those goals. So now in hindsight.
Yeah, that reminded me about a conversation I literally just had about like, everyone's view on time is different.
Yeah.
Or how they would use it, their expectations or perception of how someone else should use it. And so people have been getting on, or many different people get on me like, yo, you don't have no time for yourself. You're always doing something or with somebody else or helping somebody else. You don't really focus on you.
But do you feel like that's important to you?
That was my whole point. My point was, it's like, yeah, to a certain extent, I can understand how there's been times where it's gotten to an unhealthy level and I need to chill out. But as far as how I view it, I look at it as like, yeah, because I only have 24 hours. And if I go through the whole day and I'm sitting here thinking like, I have not had a moment to myself. Yeah, on the surface, that might be a little frustrating. You're like, damn, I just wish I had a little bit. But when I look back at the day, what I really care about is, did I waste any of the hours? Because if I didn't waste none of it and I just didn't get as much done as I wanted to, but I didn't do any waste, I'm okay with that.
Right.
As long as I didn't waste no time, then everything else will catch up as it's supposed to. And I don't necessarily need the time because I can't just sit down and do nothing. That makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I have to be doing something or getting something finished.
I feel like people need to speak to that whatever. Sometimes, right? Like for somebody to tell me like there is no more self, right? Like I'm married, I got kids. Like the time that I do have that would really go for self is spent with them, you know. And as much as like I love this, like I would love to be in that space where like certain shit like that could, you know, like take place. It just ain't gonna happen. Because
it's even like, oh, because sometimes I'm thinking like, oh no, it's for myself. Like, oh, I was I caught up with my guy the other day for like a couple hours, and like, oh yeah, it's like, but that wasn't time to yourself because you felt obligated. Like, oh, I haven't spoke to this person in a while. Let me catch up with him.
Right.
And it's like, kinda, but it's like I chose to do it.
True.
I could have just kept it pushing, but at the same time, because I value that relationship or whatever, it's not really like an obligatory thing. It's more like, nah, oh, I found some time, let me use it efficiently.
And it makes you happy.
Yeah, for the most part.
I mean, that's what I'm like time to my like complete by myself. I've never enjoyed that. I've never enjoyed being like a single man. You neither, right? But I've never really enjoyed being a single man. I always like having somebody or something or friends or whatever around like to do stuff. That's why like when I first started dating my wife, I was like, look, there are some women that I've hung with and I've never messed with before. Just because I just enjoy having a woman's company. I got a lot of male friends, right? But sometimes, and I've talked to my mom about a lot of stuff, right? So it's not just women. It's my mother, my grandmother, my aunt's perspective. Like I like looking at all their perspective. All the improvisers are out today. Oh yeah, nip that. No way, no way.
Raise the rent.
Shout out to yeah. White tight is the stock's rising. Here we go. But yeah, man, I really like what Rex said, bro. Like I really like write your stuff down. It's important so you can see it, and it just stays in the back of your mind.
I said I was gonna be better at that this year. I'm gonna get to it, but yeah, I just gotta sort a few more things out. But yeah, definitely just leaning more into like, all right, you know what? I do try to work out goals and other shit in my head, but I've never really, I might have written them down one time and never really kind of looked back. I kind of put it away. I didn't have it out in a place where I have to stare at it every day, because that's the real thing, right? For me, it's me like putting it out there. And if I put it in a place where it's staring back at me every day, now I'm holding myself accountable.
Right.
Like whatever I'm doing right now is not going towards that. So stop doing what you're doing right now and do something else.
Yeah. I try to be mindful of not negative spaces, but spaces in which I'm not doing a lot, right? Because actually I feel at peace. Like I said, Mark and a few others, like after we had our episode 3 weeks ago, he was like, yo, I really like that you said like, yo, take that time off from that job. Like it's still going to be there, like type mentality, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, time is valuable. And if I spend 8 or 9 hours of my time pouring into other people, where is that going back to my family, right? So, like, when I took that time off, man, I really just hung out with my daughter after school, like some shit that I ain't just really been doing in the last few years. I've been spending a lot of time with my stepson, just trying to get him and develop. It's hard with 2 kids, right, to pour into both of them equally, right? That's very tough to do, especially with the schedules that I be having. So I was like, yo, let me just spend this time with her, right? Let's go out, play golf, get her ice cream and stuff like that, go to the park and stuff so she can remember those things. Same thing, like we going to Vegas in March. You know what I mean? We're going out of the country with our family and stuff like that. Like these were things that I wrote down to say, hey, look, you know what? This is where I want to be better at. Like I wrote them in my notes. I write down a lot of shit. I write down the notes for us to have structured conversation here so that we can like have guided conversation. I write down, I wasn't always like that. You know what I mean? So just like you know, I'm striving to be better in those areas too. Hit my hand class for me.
Take a new set of downs.
Yeah, they go ahead and get it in, no matter what. They come into play. They look a lot different than what they were in the regular season. They sharpened some shit up. Fun facts. All right, Lex got some fun facts in here.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, man. This is your
I don't know how they all came up as animals, but whatever.
Yeah, but I got some other shit in there too. So you get one off, I'll get one off too. I want to give y'all some facts about floods because we just endured one, and I heard we're getting a crazy amount of rain coming up this next coming week again.
I don't know if it's crazy.
I don't know.
Oh, well, no. I just know. Never mind.
Look, yeah, I don't want to say it, though, no false messages.
Because you know what? No, I'll wait for your little fact to say how I feel.
Okay.
My shit ain't gonna mean shit now.
That's cool.
We're getting personal with our city. I'm over here talking about lizards communicate by doing push-ups.
That's crazy. What do you mean? Did they have more on the excerpt?
That was it. Now I know, like you know how snakes smell with their tongue. That wasn't written down. That's just one for you. That's a freebie.
Off the top.
But I mean, like, all I related it to was like, okay, they communicate by doing push-ups, like all communication. Because I think the male species communicates by doing push-ups in a certain aspect. Whether there's like if there's situations, if there's women looking, like let me knock about like 30 of these out.
Not even just that. If I see a fool with high socks and he start hitting burpees, I'm
if there's a dude watching, let me say I ain't nothing to play with. I got muscle stamina, no lactic acid buildup.
I'm great.
All that. So I don't know why, but I thought it was interesting because the animal kingdom, they don't be speaking no English, so.
Yeah, they
got to communicate somehow, and we don't necessarily understand
it. It's funny you say animal kingdom and community. The birds by my house have been fighting. The crows been going at it with the hawks, and the hawks been going at it with the little. I mean, and the little birds been going at it with each other. They up in my neighbor's tree, and they be up every morning doing their own little puff and puff. One crow was like just spinning around on like circling one. I was like, he telling them like I ain't for play. Like I be thinking about shit like that.
Yeah, I be seeing all those nature documentaries where they talk. It's usually mating season where we see how all the dudes give it up.
Yeah,
they got like a dance or something they do, or they flash their little tail and they do a little whatever, or they just like the size of their horn and the woman be like nah, or they women make them fight. I'll respect the duel.
Right. If your car is swept in the water and submerged, try not to panic. Stay calm and wait for the car to fill with water. Once the car is full, you'll be able to open the door. Yeah. The water pressure needs to equalize between the outside and inside of the car for the front door to open. Hold your breath and swim to the surface.
It's a really good fact. Because I think it's hard to apply because panic is a real thing and you don't be remembering shit. But like, I don't think that's common knowledge because people don't necessarily know about like pressure and stuff.
Well, because you don't know until you're in that situation, right? So like even if you're in a river, like if your car fall in a river, you got to wait for the pressure to equalize out. Don't panic. Like and you're losing oxygen, so make sure you breathe the right way. But I mean, it's a big deal because I mean, you look at the rain that we had. There was cars floating down Imperial. And you know what? The rain that we got like this last like past like weekend and stuff like that, it made me sit and realize where we actually live at. Like even though I'm at the bottom of the hill, I'm still not at the bottom of the hill.
Yeah.
Like the bottom of my hill is like going the back way to your house, right? That is the bottom of that hill. And so I was like, damn, I lucked out, because I feel for people that live in Lemon Grove, Spring Valley. Like if you live at the bottom of those areas, that's crazy.
And it also exposes what's the common theme of all of them areas.
So low socioeconomic
exactly,
status.
Right? Why? Because the land is cheaper. Why is the land cheaper? Because of shit like that.
La Mesa don't make sense though.
And then you got like, because I look at it, right? I said it was the fourth rainiest day in San Diego history since it's been recorded. And it was like 2.8 inches of rain. That don't sound like a lot. It don't sound like a lot of water. And I'm not going to pretend to understand how much water it really is because it don't sound like a lot of water. I take it as an infrastructure issue. There's poor drainage.
Debris.
There's no reason that 2.8 inches of water couldn't flow through a city and be okay.
Right.
If there's like proper infrastructure.
The way that they talking about it is like, oh, that amount of rain, like we wasn't going to be able to stop it. I was like, nah, that's the government.
We wasn't going to be able to stop it because we have poor infrastructure.
I got to be real too. If you live in these areas in the Southeast and stuff like that, and we get mad that like other neighborhoods, yo fam, that trash been there for a while. Like if y'all live there, pick up the trash in your neighborhood. Yo, I used to have the bad habit of throwing trash out the window on the freeway. I did. But now that I go outside, I play golf, I want the grass to be green, I got a different perspective. It affects me.
You're victim blaming right now.
No, I'm not victim blaming. I'm not. What I'm saying is that we can help maintain our own neighborhoods instead of waiting for somebody to do it.
But you got to think
That's
about
that Malcolm X theory that I'm giving you.
You speaking as a homeowner. These ain't
in the Southeast. I live here. I live here.
But those people don't own their home here.
But you need to take care of it if you live here. That's your home.
And we just talking about like, there's this new like rise on people becoming more woke about like, oh, y'all over here banging on a set of a neighborhood that y'all don't own and stuff like that. And it's like, that's a real thing.
I believe it.
So I'm just applying that to what you're saying right now.
I'm saying it, but it's nothing to pick trash up around your place.
No, I feel you.
Fam, I went to the golf course yesterday, bro, and the water ran through. I was in Bonita, so the river runs through there out into the channel, bro. And you would think Bonita was a fairly clean place, right? No, all the trash that we've left and stuff is stuck in fences. Cups and stuff and everything, and there's antifreeze bottles and stuff on I'm like, yo, where was all this at? So what I'm saying is that we can take ownership of the things that we can control. That's what I'm saying. Instead of just sitting here looking at the government, yes, they didn't clean the grills out so the water can properly flow. But we not helping with the amount of trash that we have. Bro, go drive on the 54 right by Evans Tires, and you'll see a bunch of trash just laying out there off the freeway.
I hear what you're saying. I'm not saying that people shouldn't contribute because as a society, I'm right there. Like, hey, it's like if you got it, try, because a lot of it's information, some of it's ignorance. It's like, if you know more, I don't necessarily blame all the people because sometimes people just don't know the consequences of what they're doing. And something like this is going to happen. I'm
of a thought process, though, that ignorance shouldn't be an excuse.
But what I'm saying is,
if you got somebody like me or yourself, like, yo, when you start getting your green bag, can't just be like, yo, fuck what Lex about to say. Like, we don't care about the earth. Like, he weird for that. Like, no, that's not dope.
But all I'm saying is,
like, our communities.
Picking up trash probably wasn't going to save the bulk of what happened last week.
No, but over time, yes. So he was talking about them push-ups last week and everything.
No,
right?
but I'm saying, like, when water come through, it's not necessarily trash that's making that.
Yeah, it could be tree branches, leaves, dirt, debris. Like, I'm with you, but there's trash.
In general,
along the way.
I'm never gonna say let's not pick up trash.
I know. That's why I'm crazy that you taking this stand.
I'm not putting as much stock in the consequences of it for specifically what happened last week.
With you. The city has to be better. Right?
People in general need to be better about trash and shit.
Yes,
for sure.
And on the other side of the spectrum, which you just said now applies. People in general have to be better about that.
But people are.
But if we take, that's
but
crazy.
People are trash.
But if we take better care of our surroundings in our neighborhoods, right? Then that leaves less things that we have to worry about over time.
I'll tell you what. Don't let them infinity stones be real.
You gonna go get you a gauntlet?
Because I don't know if it at the time. I'm one of the few people that was like, oh, Thanos make a lot more sense than this other shit.
I get you.
I've always understood Thanos from a personal.
I mean, we're overcrowded.
From a personal standpoint, I was like, we can just get half of these motherfuckers out of here. We can might make some real. Well, shit
homelessness is a big problem too out here, right? And so, like, a lot of these people don't have places to go. So I get that, but again, that falls on us to advocate for a place. It shouldn't just be like, oh, well, these people, we don't want them in our neighborhood. We move them over here. They do that in Spring Valley by the county park all the time. Oh, let's get them out of here, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks go by, they right back there again. What are you doing this for? Like, well, let's get the housing up, right? Like, everybody want to live by the water and shit like that. Start building in these areas where we got extra room and putting them out there. Give them something. Help them out with jobs or something. We got to come to the table because when shit like this happens, we're all at liberty. We're all being like held for the consequences, right? We can't just turn a blind eye to certain shit anymore.
It'll never happen because
not with that attitude.
Our structure, the way we're structured, there's just too many cooks in the kitchen.
I mean,
at any given time, with any given circumstance, with any given issue.
Give me an animal fact. You go tear me down a morbid road. That's why I was like, yo, just mix them in here.
Dragonflies have 6 legs, but cannot walk.
I've never seen their legs. I thought they just land on their bellies this whole time.
Well, yeah, because they can't walk. But I just think it's funny when you see it, like, oh, technically you got 6 legs, but you can't.
That's crazy.
You can't even shuffle over.
I wonder what dragonflies eat. I don't think I've ever seen one eat either. They just usually just fly and mosey around.
Don't they eat like flies and shit? That's cannibalism.
I don't know. I don't know what dragonflies eat. Another flood tip. Do not attempt to start a flooded car. If there's water in the engine, you can cause even more damage.
All right, whoever's doing that.
No, wait a minute. There's somebody that does. So my man's called me. I'm not going to say who it is because, again, like ignorance, once you learn something. So he calls me and he's like, yo, my mom's car got flooded. She parks it at the Massachusetts Trolley station. She right there in the circle, in the middle of it. We saw the cars floating by. And so when she got back from the trolley, because she took it into downtown to go to work, when she got back, her car, like the floorboard was wet, but she didn't notice it, supposedly. That smell, I feel like, is unique after an hour. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So when she got home, she asked for a wet vac and like all that other stuff from my man's. And she said she was pulling cups of water out. And she went to the place, and this is going to lead me to my next thing, but she went to the dealer, and they wanted to charge her $1,800 to pull everything out and dry it, just to dry it. There's mechanical pieces that have lubricants and stuff like that. The engine is it's supposed to be specifically with oil or gasoline, you know, for combustion. You put water in those things, it ruins the electronics, the wiring. Like your car may be able to start and go, but it may start smoking or corrosion. What happened to some of those wires?
It's like similar to people that try to throw water on a grease fire.
Yeah, that ain't exactly, or electrical fire. Yeah, you need a special way of getting it out. So my next point is of this fact is if something like that happens to you, file an insurance claim, you know, for flood damage, because you don't know when that car may tap out. It could be total. What I heard is that all it takes is 4 inches of water, a body of water, for your car to be considered in a flood.
Only takes half an inch to drown.
That's what I'm saying. So like with that in mind, you know, if your car did suffer some flood damage and stuff like that, contact your insurance. If you don't have insurance on your car, get some, because these insurance companies are on something completely different. A lot of these houses didn't have flood insurance, and I feel for them, man, because that's a tough feat to get by.
Well, yeah, the insurance industry is really going through it right now. It's becoming so expensive because the cost to rehab, the cost to build, the cost to rebuild. Climate change is bringing more extreme weather. That means the disasters are a lot more frequent, whether that be floods, fires, or whatever. That is costing so much to insure that they're just not doing business anymore. They're leaving. Like a company will be like, I'm not going to do any business in whatever state because for what? Right. We're about making money and y'all drain it all because it's always a flood, always a whatever. And so the less competition there is, the higher the price can be, because that means whoever's left can charge whatever they want.
Right.
And that's the issue we have with home insurance and car insurance, because these are mandated, something we have to have. And so it's becoming even less affordable to own said car or house, because it's hard enough to own it, but now I got to put insurance on it, and that shit is tough. And this has happened before. It is a market cycle. It should be okay, but the difference is
upfronts and premiums
with
right
the
now.
Climate change, that's not going away. No. So it might not necessarily be okay, and this might be more of a new normal. And they're going to have to figure some shit out, because, again,
wildfires too.
Our home insurance, we pay a little bit more premium for fires. And now they're going to be like, oh, now we got to tax some flood shit on.
Especially if the city doesn't. That's why I'm saying the city is responsible for some of these things.
And so now that that's happening, now that we got to worry about multiple disasters instead of just one, it's going to get that much more expensive. There's always going to be damage to clean up. Always going to be some shit going on. Right. It's either going to be too hot and burning, too cold and flooding, this, and that. These are the long-term effects. It's not just about saving the turtles with straws in their noses. This shit affects everybody, whether you like it or not. And it's going to cost a lot of money to fix all the damage that doesn't just happen one time. This is going to be a constant thing. Weather doesn't go away.
No.
Now it's just more extreme all the time.
I was telling the dude yesterday, I was like, yo, man, like some people be afraid of like dying by bullets and shit like that. I was like, I'm more afraid of the earth. Like the earth scares me.
I'd much rather get shot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Than burn alive, freeze to death, drown.
Yeah, like those are not things that, or be caught in a twister, like or a hurricane. I don't want to be in none of those things.
We've already been in a hurricane.
Well, shit. What we went through this past week was worse than a tropical storm. They said I need the weatherman to get his shit together. And the news
didn't say shit.
That's what I'm fucking saying.
The news was just like,
the weatherman.
Because that's what I was trying to tell people that week. It was like, a hurricane. People are thinking about TV. They don't understand the true definitions of these things. They don't understand the criteria it needs to just be something simple as a hurricane, tropical storm, whatever. That didn't meet the criteria last week. So it's just like, it rained hard.
Like the devastation it left, it was way worse than the tropical
storm. And that's why I'm saying don't put too much stock into the actual word hurricane because it doesn't necessarily take whatever criteria you think it takes in your head to meet that. It's just like, and so if you live in those areas that flood or susceptible to flood, it's going to happen a lot more. So obviously saying something as elitist as don't live there no more sounds crazy.
Right.
But, there are ways to kind of mitigate the situation. I'm going to assume that this past week, Home Depot and places like that had a big rush for sandbags.
And you can go to your local fire station to get sandbags. Let me make sure that y'all know that.
But they're not going to have enough for the whole neighborhood.
I'm just saying. I'm just adding another resource.
There we go. So...
Sandbags are about $15 for 26 pounds or something like that.
And it's another expense that a lot of people just might not have.
Absolutely.
But at the same time,
if you're a homeowner, if not, tell your apartment complex.
Get renter's insurance, like all that.
Yeah,
and I'm saying all that too. It's tough. Like I was fortunate enough that day, I didn't actually see the devastation outside of social media because of where I was at throughout the day.
You're up on a hill too, aren't you?
I didn't really run into it. No, even I was in Mission Valley most of the day, but I wasn't in the parts that were flooded. Like I skated out.
See, we never say nothing about Mission Valley though, because that's usually a place that floods though. That's where all the water runs. It's in the valley, so I mean that makes sense.
And the parts that's flooding aren't really affecting as many people like that because it's kind of
they're high rises too.
Yeah.
There's garages. At least you got somewhere that you're above ground though. Hit my hand claps. Shows to watch. That's what we own. Then we'll get up out of here. Lex got places to be. I started watching Griselda on Netflix. Seems very, I don't know if most of y'all don't know, but it's about Griselda Blanco. Her name is not really Griselda Blanco. That was just what they called her. She had many names. They called her the Godmother, which is like La Madrina. They called her, a bunch. Very interesting story. I guess she was the one that gave Pablo Escobar his little rise to fame. They did touch on her a little bit in Narcos and everything. And I'll tell you what, the actress that plays her, she's been in a bunch of movies. Chasing Poppy is what I remember her from.
Sofia Vergara.
Yeah. So she's been in a lot of Medea movies. I want to say she was in Soul Plane too.
Her biggest role was Modern Family.
Is it really?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, she's the wife of the dude?
Yeah.
That's what Adele can remember the name. Adele. Yeah. The name of the show was Modern Family. Oh, there you go. Yeah, she could not figure it out last night to save her life. She's on one of those TV shows. Yeah, she bad though. The real Griselda Blanco don't look like that.
Not
though.
At all.
Nah, she looked like the lady from Family Guy that does the housekeeping stuff, right? She looked like everything that this girl was supposed to be though. And so nah, it's cool. But that's one of those. It's a good show. Like I like it's a documentary style. Some of it is loosely on some.
You got to
things.
do with TV. It's TV.
Yeah, it's TV.
Frank Lucas did not look like Denzel Washington.
He did not. He did not fill that suit in.
You know what I mean?
So, what show you got?
Hurt that mother. All right, last one for my Showtime subscription as it is gone now. I watched
mine's is on Netflix. I'm sorry.
The Biz Markie documentary from last year, All Up in the Biz, RP, and it's, what you think it is. It's a one-off, and it's a bunch of people just kind of going through his life and how when he caught COVID, and that was kind of the ending of that, and just kind of how positive he was, how he impacted all these different people's lives. The things that you would expect in a documentary, but another mass appeal production. Shout out to Nas. And that's bullshit.
That's crazy.
And
that's crazy.
That's how Brett Favre's first pass went.
That's
in
crazy.
His whole career.
He came out of nowhere to get that. He's fast. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah. So I mean, if you're a hip hop head or a Biz Markie fan or just music documentaries in general, it's pretty well done. And yeah, so go run that up. And I think that should do it for my Showtime subscription. So I'll be back to some other streaming service now.
There we go. All right, we kept it lighthearted. We went all the way in last week. That means that next week gonna be cooking. Supposed to rain. We'll figure it out though. Any lasting parts? Hit my hand claps. Let's do 3 cheers real quick.
Let me get it back to that.
Oh man. I know you gonna hate on this, especially because what we watching, but I had to really think about this. I gotta give it 3 cheers to Lamar Jackson. And the reason why I do that, bro's been in the league for a long time. He's a good human being. He stays out of trouble, bro. And he stay getting hate from mother suckers like you just because it's a divisional thing, right?
Okay, I'm glad you cleared that part.
Yeah. But as a human being, like so far what we know, because we don't know, is, it could be one of them Diddy situations 20 years from now. We don't know anymore, right? But so far what we know, man, is like he's a good person, bro. And I wish the best for him moving forward. But it's always good to see these athletes, man, like keep their heads down, do the things that they need to do, make their money, be there for the kids, and still be themselves and be able to perform. So, shout out to them. I need y'all to be safe out there. Super Bowl weekend coming up and everything, pandemonium. I know we got one more America's team left, right? Like with the 49ers and everything. No, that one too, but they not as rowdy as the 49ers, Steeler fans and all that. Y'all got the tougher crowds, right? So with that being said, y'all need to be safe though.
Lamar Jackson is one of those people I want to root for.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to.
I feel you.
If he was in any other color.
You'd be right there.
Even today, right? People are like, oh yeah, your whiteness is showing. Everyone's rooting for, the Ravens and Lions. They want it for the culture.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah, not at all. Because if Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase can get out their current uniforms,
you'd be all right.
I would love for them to just break all records, Hall of Fame, all that great shit. Right now, hurt this man.
No, we ain't living. That's not my message.
And I'm not really happy about football right now outside of the Chiefs, and that's just kind of default because I'm here for business purposes.
There we go.
Raise the rent. My 3 cheers is to anybody and everybody who showed up for the city this weekend to help those who needed help.
Absolutely.
Whether that was donating time, money, food, cleanup efforts and stuff like that. I'm kind of upset at myself that I wasn't a part of any of that, or, kind of out the way, especially for like neighborhoods I grew up in or frequent in my whole life. And just to anybody else out there, just kind of trying to make something happen, like trying to not take for granted the fact that, like, I had a rough week, in general, not taking for granted that I didn't have to deal with something like that on top of it, because a lot of people had a worse week.
Absolutely.
And it's a long recovery. It's not just as simple as filing insurance claims and doing this and that. There's a lot more shit, time, and energy that's going to go into
and pain.
Something as simple, like, because when we look at stuff on the news, right, we see those big things, those big fires, the fucking Hurricane Katrinas and stuff like that, the real devastation. We look at how much damage something like this costs, and we're looking at it from our perspective versus like someone like New Orleans would be like, that ain't shit. That's what we deal with, like, on a monthly basis.
But not us.
But it's like, damn, like, it's still...
Our wildfires hit, though, so don't sit up here and say we ain't got no strikes. It just goes to show
how much, like, all this, like, happens with all this. And so, yeah, shout out to everybody. Hopefully next time we'll be a tad more prepared.
Absolutely. All right, see y'all next week. Be safe, stay dry.